Alright, yo, what's up? It's Donald underscore thought or Donald what if? How you doing? I just realized I went through a whole thing of stopping the thing because my brain immediately went to the worst. Turns out I've been showing just my face. So yeah, let me just make sure I'm not showing anything that's not what I want to show. This one's just cooked. I can't show this one. I'll put it to the furthest stuff that can't be seen. Anything else here that's got any details of mine? That's got details of mine. That's got nothing, so it's irrelevant. Some how to's, yeah. God, I love bait man. All right, let me show some. All right. Oh, wait, hold on. Some really weird shit on there. Give me like 5 seconds. Fuck. I'm not. Yeah, I'm showing that shit there. Yeah, fuck it. You know, whatever. You guys can see what I'm looking at. You guys get to see my my beautiful stuff. Why is it so bad? Why has this person done a knot in her? You know, never mind. I remember this video. What? What the fuck? I'm so confused. I'm so confused. What do you mean a height physically can't be? What? Damn good question. Is Big Brother Oni-chan in Japanese? Oni-chan is always watching. Oppa in Korean. Imagine if it said every introverted dude needs his government mandated extroverted girlfriend. Okay, done. What the fuck? Fuck I. What? Isn't France a rapist? I hope it's a joke. This does. I can look at this and know for a fact it's not going to be like that. Or what do you mean? It's a joke. Yeah. Okay. Enough of that. I want to do my own thing now. All right. I want to watch this video on how people lost their Xbox in Magic the Gathering. Oh goodness. I feel like I need to just take a nap, listen to music, have a bath. I don't know. So I'm just anyway.
The march of the machine has been stopped. The eternal enemy of freedom is finally vanquished. But this victory.
Freedom mentioned. No, I'm not doing that.
Came at a great cost, a toll paid not in flesh and blood, but in souls and sparks. Phyrexia was defeated, but the repercussions of the invasion rippled.
One moment, I'm just going to quickly switch over to headphones so that I can actually listen to it without problems. Cool. There we go. All right. You won't be able to hear any of it. Hold on. Let me just switch on my properties now. I need to set it up so that I have two audio things, one for headphones and one not.
The multiverse had to heal itself from this devastation, and it did so the only
Oh, hold on. Why is nothing going through?
way it knew how,
There
by
we go.
pruning the powers of those who had harmed
There
it.
we go.
Thus,
All right.
it was dubbed the Great Pruning, and it would forever change the course of Magic the Gathering history.
I don't know if it's just me, but stuff like pruning makes me think of like timelines being pruned, which maybe maybe being referenced later on in what's it called? In Reality Fracture. That's it.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Ether Hub. I'm Simon, bringing you more Magic the Gathering lore. Today I want to cover an event stemming from the March of the Machine, and it's
This is really blurry. Give me a sec. Let me just make that HD.
aftermath,
better, but
one that will drive the direction of the MTG story to come. An event known as the Great Pruning. In this video, I will discuss what the Great Pruning is, who it impacted, and how it can affect the story moving forward. Before we start, I just want to say thank you all so much for waiting patiently for new videos. MTG hired and that whole sponsor do get back or near the end of the March of the Machine story.
Alright, so this should be the beginning.
Pruning is a mysterious
Phyrexia was defeated, but the repercussions of the invasion rippled through the blind eternities.
event that happened at or near the end of the March of the Machine story. Though it's debatable why the Great Pruning occurred, its effects are quite obvious. Planeswalkers across the multiverse have seen their sparks fade from their being, rendering them Planeswalkers no more, unable to...
I mean, I'm assuming this is going to say why, right? Like, why is it that when you stop Phyrexia it just causes this? Or is it because of the fuckery of reality?
...to travel through the blind eternities. Though the reason for the Great Pruning is not fully known, it's theorized that it could be the fabric of the multiverse trying to heal itself from the events of March of the Machine. It could be that Elspeth Tirel exploding the filigree Silex in the Blind Eternities had damaged it in some way, or perhaps the various wormholes created by Elish Norn's invasion tree tore at the structure of the multiverse. Either way, something during the Phyrexia...
Nah, that's not happened. Universes Beyond started, and it just started, like, fucking up the universe for Magic as well. Like, it has inverse consequences.
Phyrexian's invasions triggered the Great Pruning to occur. Much like the Great Mending that happened many years ago, which saw the multiverse greatly reduce the powers of Planeswalkers and attempt to heal itself from numerous calamities through time and reality, the Great Pruning saw the multiverse again taking powers away from Planeswalkers. This leads us to believe that Planeswalkers...
It really is too bad that the Planeswalkers aren't like cultivators or something, because then they wouldn't have to worry about any of this bullshit. Making their own universe and themselves and all that.
And their gifts are...
Actually, to be fair, cultivate-wise, for fuck's sake, why is everything... Sorry, I'm just being very frustrated right now. Again, heavy day, not feeling the best. And of course, it's the most pointless message you can receive. But... they're more like immortals than I guess in like a cultivation terms, where they're given some sort of benefit from the universe itself and are connected to it. But because of that, the universe can just kind of find them off really, really easily. Whereas, of course, a cultivator that isn't connected to the universe and severs their own karma is more present in themselves.
...to the fabric of the multiverse. Perhaps this...
Aluki just said words. I have no idea what I just fucking said.
...that Planeswalkers and their gifts are tied to the fabric of the multiverse. Perhaps this ability is granted by the multiverse itself, and is taken away as a means of reabsorbing that lost power.
Yeah, but why? Like, usually there's a reason for something. There's like a law of gravity, but there's no counteraction to the plane being a planeswalker. Is it just that every universe wants to expand itself more and more and more, so it creates planeswalkers to create more universes? Maybe... I don't know, maybe I'll theorize about this later. Maybe I'll wait a bit more into the video.
Either way, this mysterious relation as a means of reabsorbing that lost power.
Oh, sorry. I thought what the other thing was. It could also be a Yahweh thing, where it's like it's trying to experience through them to allow itself more things. That would be possible. That'd be a really cool like set all about the universe itself fighting. Like the planes themselves become fighters. That'd be kind of crazy.
Either way, this mysterious relationship between planeswalkers and the multiverse is further explored with the Great Pruning. As you would expect, the Great Pruning affects a significant number of planeswalkers in the story. These are the currently known planeswalkers that have lost their sparks as a result of the Great Pruning and the war against Phyrexia. Calyx. Calyx losing...
Deserved. Well, no, he's pretty good to be fair in an enchantment deck. Every time an enchantment enters, you get a +1/+1 counter on target creature. And whenever it deals damage, you may create a token that's a copy of a non-legendary enchantment creature you control, or enchantment you control. He'd be really good in like Silver Quill, if that
His
were
spark
had
is
a green.
probably one of the most consequential for the story. Not because Calyx is a fan favorite or beloved character, but because his spark vanishing could mean something major will happen to another more substantial planeswalker. Let me explain. First, who is Calyx? If you don't know, I don't blame you. He's a planeswalker introduced during the mire that was the story of Theros Beyond Death. That set didn't have an official written out story, with only blurbs and flavor text left to round out anything of story significance that happened. And there was plenty of story significance.
That reminds me, I need to, you know what, let me, hold on. I need to get the Strixhaven Omen. Is it Omen of Chaos? Where can I get it? Is it here, I think? At Blackwell's? Yeah. I'm going to buy this. I'm for sure buying this. Is this... I assume that this is the... Oh, the playing card was only included in the first edition. Oh. Fuck. Shit, that's this one. Hold on. Strixhaven of Chaos first edition. If that's the case, that's so BS. Oh, for fuck's sake. Why is it still £20 then? Why on earth are they still... See, that price makes sense for something that no longer has the main pull. I want the promo. I think it's really cool. I assume if I go down to this one as well, don't have a full description. Blah, blah, blah. Omens of Chaos, more like Omens of Garbage. Is that bad? I doubt it's going to be better than Harry Potter, I'll be honest with you. But, you know, sure, whatever. Oh, I have to sign in to read it? Kill yourself. Actually kill yourself. First edition Strixhaven Omens of Chaos. Actually, okay, let's search up in that case, because I want this card. This special first edition hardcover. That's such a cop-out. Why? Why remove it? Why remove it? Like, what is the point? Because you want. I'm assuming it's because they want people to artificially buy it because they're scared they won't be able to get the card. That's basically just it. Oh. What, okay, hold on. What is the card called? It's a command tower. Okay. Command Tower Pro. Let's look it up. Just go on Sky Scroll, Skyfall, whatever. Lone Eclipsed. Fuel Prince. I'm getting a little bit distracted, aren't I? But I'm just annoyed. £41. Oh, you're a sick twit. You are a sick fuck. Ah. Alright. Oh, it dropped down to 28. I mean, that's still not good. It's still not a good number. It almost makes me want to get the book now. I feel like that's the irony of it. Because they've made artificial scarcity, yeah, a bunch of people are going to buy it up at first. But then past that point, it's going to have a massive drop-off in sales after, like, the release. And not just because people have the book now, but because the only reason they bought the book was because of the promo. And now that it doesn't have the promo, other than a couple of stragglers who don't realize it's not going to be there, and a couple of people who just want to read the book, no one's going to be paying for the fucking £20 ones, which means that they're basically getting a bad rep from other organizations. Whatever. Let me just go on to the video.
In Theros Beyond Death, namely the escape of, and there was plenty of story significance in Theros Beyond Death, namely the escape of Elspeth Tyrell from the Plains Underworld. And as we know, she was pretty important in War of the Spark. Anyway, Calix was introduced here, brought into existence by the Theros god of fate and destiny, Clothes. Yes, Calix isn't a normal human. He was created by Clothes to pursue Elspeth Tyrell and bring her back to the underworld, as that was her fate, one that Clothes felt the Planeswalker had cheated. As this was Calix's only purpose, his own destiny shifted to help him pursue his target. As Calix and Elspeth fought, Calix would lose, but get better each time, adapting to Elspeth's attacks. When Calix discovered Elspeth, the Planeswalker, he too willed a spark into existence solely so he could chase her across the multiverse and bring her back.
How the fuck? I mean, obviously through willpower or some shit, but like, damn! You can just do that?
That's his whole character. Now he has lost his spark thanks to the Great Pruning, but as his fate is so closely tied with Elspeth's, I don't think fate would leave him completely unable to pursue her. To me, this means that either Elspeth too has lost her spark, or that they will one day find each other via omen paths. It would be curious to see how Calix could change as a character if he could no longer pursue Elspeth, but more so, I think it would play off of his original design to find out that he shared a sparkless fate with Elspeth. Kiora, everyone's favorite big monster tamer and godly artifact thief, returns in March in the Machine Aftermath, now with something of hers taken, her spark. Yes, Kiora is now sparkless, being pruned of her planeswalking powers as a result of the Great Pruning. Many fans will remember this merfolk fondly as the gutsy, otherworldly leader of the merfolk of Theros. Kiora was so confident in herself that she even challenged the god of the seas, Thassa, and won. Not in combat, mind you, she got handled pretty hard, but Kiora did manage to swap the sea god's trident, a powerful artifact that could control the tides, not only on Theros, but in any ocean of any plane. She just snatched it and planeswalked out. In the story, Kiora had some mixed receptions. In Theros, she was regarded as an awesome addition to the Planeswalking roster. That awesomeness faded a little when the Eldrazi were released on her home plane of Zendikar. Rather than standing with the newly formed Gatewatch to kill the Eldrazi, she went rogue and attacked them with gigantic sea monsters under her command. This, however, failed and she deemed the Eldrazi unstoppable. She even got into the Gatewatch's way and almost ruined their plan to end them once and for all. But it was all in an attempt to save Zendikar, so at least there was good intention there. Now with the plan for the
good
multiverse
intentions
under
just don't
siege
make
by
up
the
for doing something objectively negative. But
Phyrexians, Kiora returns to Zendikar to defend it once again. It's here that her spark wanes, and forever she is plain-bound, stuck on a world that she will fiercely protect. Koth is a great...
That's not really much for loss, to be honest. I mean, if she's going to be there anyway, and going to spend all of her time protecting it, then who really cares that she got locked? I don't know. It's not like she's immortal as well. Like, the Planeswalkers don't have that benefit anymore. So the fact that she's also playing... The only difference is now she can't leave to chase people down. Which I would assume is better than were. Like, it's a better thing than a bad thing. Considering now she can't, like, get trapped somewhere else or this or that. Not too bad.
Hero of the multiverse, a proud defender for his home of Mirrodin before it was lost forever and became New Phyrexia. While others withdrew from the fight, giving up hope at stopping the perversion of their world, Koth stood defiant, his molten geomancy always burning away the impurities afflicting what used to be Mirrodin. While Koth's story had always involved the Phyrexians being born to the world that
I can't lie, this guy's pretty cool. I was really considering putting him in a red deck I was making. Just wasn't enough benefits to having, the mountains effect.
Rise to New Phyrexia, Koth surprisingly didn't get much airtime in March of the Machine. He was always there, leading what was left of the Mirran resistance, standing as a symbol for the people who truly lost everything because of the Phyrexians. He was a great...
We can figure out really easily why. Who wrote the Phyrexian story where they were on New Phyrexia? Yep, I got it. Okay, I know why. I imagine she just really struggled to write a story that's based on, like, a war setting. I think it literally could be quite literally that. So the people who are directly involved in the army itself, they're not going to be. It's not going to be possible for her to write it as well as to either to be able to write it well, but also to focus on it. Because to her, that might genuinely, I think that she just thought it wasn't important.
Allied to those of the Gatewatch and was at the climactic battle that saw Elish Norn fall, but outside of that, he isn't given much of the meat of the story. His fate is a unique one, as he is actually given a...
Yeah, I genuinely just think that she didn't know what to do with him. If she was the lead writer, absolutely zero chance she knew what to do with him.
Home in March of the Machine Aftermath. New Phyrexia, what was his home of Mirrodin, has traded places in the multiverse with the phased realm of Zhalfir. Now Zhalfir is back in our primary reality, while Koth's home is irreversibly lost. Koth now resides on Zhalfir without a spark, trying to make a new home for his people.
Cool. I mean, so far this isn't sounding like a bad thing at all. No one's been just trapped somewhere where they're gonna die or some shit.
And ripped sparks from planeswalkers indiscriminately, and even the level-headed monk, Narset, wasn't spared this fate. Narset is a really fun character who I just love, and would love to see further developed in the future. But those future stories will have to be based on Tarkir, Narset's home plane, because that's where she got stuck.
I mean, that's pretty chill. We're on Tarkir right now, so I'm a big fan of that set. Chill.
Following the events of March of the Machine. Narset's story was one of awesome potential, being a monk of the Jeskai
Okay,
order
how to
following
confirm
her
it was this guy.
Dragon Lord Ojutai, her spark only igniting during the stories of the Tarkir block when she uncovered a great secret that the dragon clans were not always in power, that the timeline had been changed at some point, that once mortal-led clans ruled Tarkir and drove dragons to extinction. This was forbidden knowledge, and the truth of it caused Narset's spark to ignite. It was great character design to have her be sparkless in one timeline and then gaining that spark after she learns of that previous timeline. I just loved it. She's kind of fallen off since her heyday, being featured again on Ikoria for that set story, but ending up not doing much of anything. More
pretty standard. I think that's a big problem with like the blocks thing, if I understand that correctly. Well, no, they said Ikoria. I think Ikoria did have a block. Well, but yeah, up until now, you know, we're off blocks, so it's going to be a bigger struggle to explore more characters and who can come into the story.
So she was just spotted there and shared some words of wisdom, but nothing of substance. In the wake of the Phyrexian attacks across the multiverse, Narset returns home to Tarkir in order to defend it. Now she's stuck on Tarkir without a spark to continue her search for knowledge. She still wants to learn more of this previous timeline on Tarkir and why the Dragon Lords look to keep it hidden. Now she has plenty of time to devote to this endeavor. Another native of Tarkir, the dragon-loving Sarkhan Vol, also finds himself now trapped upon his home after the Great Pruning.
Loki just sounds like they basically had like a bunch of random useless characters who've done their purpose already, and they're just like, you know what, fuck it. We have like important characters, these guys aren't anymore. So, is this guy the guy? Is he the Ascendant?
It was in fact Sarkhan Vol who was...
It is. Okay, cool. I really like his card for Antarctica. I need to find it, whatever.
Responsible for the diverging timelines of Tarkir discovered by Narset. He set in motion events that saw the rise of the Dragon Lords, after coming to despise the Tarkir ruled over by mortal Khans after they drove the dragons to extinction. On Tarkir, it's the Dragon Tempests that is responsible for creating the Legion of Dragons that would bring the Khans to heel. Originally, these stopped when Ugin, their progenitor, was killed on Tarkir by his brother Nicol-Bolas. Sarkhan Vol was once a minion of Bolas's, being enthralled by the power of the dragon, but driven away by the tyrant's cruelty. He heard whispers from a dragon lost, a ghost.
Ugin is just... It's like, I want to like Ugin. I like Ugin. He's got a funny looking design compared to his brother. Story-wise, he's like vital to stopping this corrupt tyrant of a dragon. But he's a bit incompetent, you know? Like, yeah, he can think like big picture, but he does not register any of the smaller pieces of information. Maybe I need a like direct diagnostic viewpoint of him, but so far it's looking like that.
And followed them, it was of course Ugin guiding the Planeswalker to reverse this fate. And traveling through time and changing the course of history, the Dragon Lords now rule Tarkir, as Sarkhan always believed was right for his home. He, like Narset, returned to Tarkir to defend it against the Phyrexian threat, seeing countless of his beloved dragons succumb to the oil of this enemy. He then fought with the strength of a dragon's heart. With the great...
Very eco-friendly character, I see.
Pruning, he too now finds himself sparkless, perhaps returning to his former clan, the Mardu, as one of its highest-ranking human members.
That'd be fire. Hold on, let me just search up. Sarkhan... Because obviously he's the Dragon Ascendant now. Any text? Yeah, it just shows him like as an older man in this space. This one, I like the Dragon Ascendant one the most. Goes to Taman and watches Pawns as digging into a stone this ritual, found a scroll to get blah blah. Okay, yeah, so Elspeth, past hours, blah blah blah, return, Sarkhan in his dragon form is feeling exhilarating with absolute control over the dragons. He intends on destroying or reaching the temple. Raska takes loot, uses camouflage smell. Jace forms again. I'm humbled to read that. I can't lie. I much prefer listening to someone talk about it. But okay, so got you. He's a traitor to humanity. Got you.
Probably one of the most unique cases occurring as a result of the Great Pruning is the sad fate of Obnixilis. He's a strange
He's a demon, I don't care.
character, being an old planeswalker, that being one who's been around since before the Great Mending and planeswalkers had their powers greatly reduced. Before that, Ob literally went from plane to plane waging one-man wars and conquering entire worlds. Ever since losing that power, he's been trying to find ways to again become a tyrant, which eventually saw him...
Yeah, he's a demon. I don't find anything you're about to tell me sad unless like it's really sad, like his family got fucking tortured or something. But even then, he's probably tortured families before or something on those lines, considering, you know, demon who conquered fucking planes.
Transformed into a half-demon, which he didn't mind because it made him even more powerful. After messing with heroes...
Oh, he became a demon. Okay. Still doesn't change my opinion.
Zendikar, almost drowning Gideon Jorah with his bare hands, and generally just causing problems, Obnixilis travels to the great city of New Capenna and becomes a mob boss. It may not be the same as tearing a world apart with his bare claws, but destabilizing criminal organizations by being an even nastier criminal enterprise does vie with Obnixilis quite well, as he was on the rise within New Capenna's night.
Well, I'm incredibly happy for him that he managed to do that. I'm looking forward to the part where you tell me like an angel stabbed him through the chest or something.
Life, he ran afoul of Elspeth, who cut his ambition short, literally by cutting him nearly in half. He planeswalked away.
That's what I like to hear. That is what I like to hear. This is why Elspeth is my girl. She's the GOAT. She's just Kratos, but like, you know, we're chilling. I like female Kratos.
From that encounter, but sometime after decided to return to New Capenna to rebuild his empire. He was there when Phyrexia attacked, but didn't engage with the monsters. He sat on the sidelines waiting to see who the ultimate victor was.
He's just like, fuck that, I'm so lazy. I cannot be asked to fight these robotic twits.
So that he could, of course, side with them. The people of New Capenna prevailed. Obnixilis lost his spark, and now he has 5 angry mob families looking for him. And I promise you, they don't want to give him a fruit basket. Samut is a brave warrior from the plane of Amonkhet. Though her world was fundamentally...
Hold on. Firstly, her. Secondly, I've got another image that is directly that. Okay. Just real quick, just to think. This is the same person. Not the best pose right here, but hold on. Let's look around for a second. What's this one called again? Sandstorm Echo. All right, images. Yep, we see the fit, bro. We see the fit. I don't know, man. I'm just seeing Sandstorm Echo here. If we look up, oh, why does he look like a fucking femboy? Why does he look so gay in this image? I have nothing against gay people, you know. I got homeboys who are gay. Doesn't mean that I want it everywhere, you know. Doesn't have to look like a fag. Alright, hype? What do you mean? This one is cool. I like the image of it being like a bunch of different sand variants of him. This one, no. Why does he look like that? Why do they like put... Why is he wearing lipstick? I'm so lost. Why is his mask come off? Shut up, Reddit. Anyway. This sword is just wrong. Anyway, I'm being super judgmental now. Let me get back to the actual video that we're watching.
Altered by Nicol Bolas for his own purposes long before her birth, Samut rose to become more than anyone could ever believe. Amonkhet was meant to be nothing more than the breeding ground for Bolas's mindless fighting force. People spent their entire lives dedicated to learning how to fight, and fight well. Such was the life of Samut, though she had discovered a great and terrible truth, that the dragon they had worshipped as their god pharaoh actually perverted the purpose of the other gods for his own desires. Their lives were a lie. So,
that is rough. That is rough. Just kill him. Just lock in. Get good.
Samut dissented. With Bolas claiming his army from Amonkhet, most of the plain lies in ruin, with only one true god of the plain remaining, Hazaret, Samut's god.
I like Hazaret. Hazaret looks really cool. Oh, I'm a big fan of this sort of stuff. I mean, there's a reason why I 100%ed Assassin's Creed Origins back in the day. Can't give any proof because they took down my PlayStation account for BS. They took it down because of the fact that, like, what was the reason that was given to me? Oh yeah, because I asked for a refund on something because I do not remember buying it. And then after refunding me, they found out because I think I mentioned something to one of the customer staff members while I was talking to them about it. And instead of, just refunding it and being like, okay, whatever, who cares? The stingy prick decided to fucking shut down my account. I can't use my account until I pay them like £40. Which, by the way, is not how much money I got back. I did not get back for £40. So, fuck her. Anyway, going on.
Samut had saved the god's life from certain death.
That's a person I hope doesn't have their job anymore.
Hazaret's appreciation was enough to cause Samut's spark to ignite. Now, as the sands of Amonkhet flood with Phyrexians, she again returns to fight side by side with her god, and the other
Also, again, another example of how there's characters who, let's be honest, no one really cares about. Like, no one actually cares about Samut. Why would we care? Why would anyone care about this person being a planeswalker? That affects none of her story. Oh, she stops being a planeswalker, and then what? Genuinely, what's going to happen? She fucking stays on her thing? Like she would have already.
Destined to lead her people through a treacherous world and settling some new civilization. The Wanderer, whose true...
I'm a hater, so I just don't want her to even... Like, I bet you that we're never going to go to that fucking Egyptian place ever again.
Name is not known, is in fact the current ruler of Kamigawa, a plane where the physical and spiritual...
Wow, another example of a character if she lost her Planeswalker Spark. Actually, she'd probably be better off. Her Planeswalker Spark is like Kakashi with a Sharingan. She is better off without it.
Realms commingle. Though trained to be an excellent fighter and diplomat in preparations for her preordained role as emperor, the Wanderer was also a planeswalker whose spark would ignite in her youth after a would-be kidnapping attempt. However, her spark was never stable. She had little control over it, and it would often planeswalk her to a random world. She would later...
so it's actually beneficial if she lost it? That's crazy.
Gain a bit more control over her power, just enough to meet with an old friend and fellow planeswalker.
They have to be together. I refuse to believe that Kaito and the Wanderer aren't together.
Kaido, saving him...
Side note, if we go back to Kamigawa, I want to see them have kids.
More than one...
I don't want to see it happening. As in, I think they'd be a great pair.
During their time with the March of the Machine storyline. One of these rescues called her back to her home of Kamigawa, as Kaido was battling the now completed Tamio. The Wanderer would cut down Tamio and went on to defend Kamigawa from the continued invasion. Now,
so from my understanding with the previous Kamigawa Neon Dynasty story, or the ending of it, when she kills Tamio, she leaves behind a blue hologram version of herself. So Tamio's not even really gone. Technically, she is gone. Her soul is dead. Her life is gone. All that jazz. But there is something left for the people that she loved. So, not too sad.
With the Phyrexian invasion over, the Wanderer could take her rightful place on the throne.
Although I will not pretend that I would be terrified of that happening to me. I fucking hate the idea. I just want to live forever.
But has chosen instead to wander her plane for a bit, enjoying the freedom of being where she wants to be, when she wants to be there, without fear of her spark ruining the moment.
Whoa! So, it's a good thing!
Been freed of her spark's instability, and is content letting Light Pauls rule as regent for a bit longer.
Cool.
Tyvar Kell is a relatively new planeswalker to the roster of Magic the Gathering.
Oh, so you're telling me that for the story and for the game, it means nothing if he stopped having a planeswalker, and that's why they chose him? Gotcha.
but he didn't get to enjoy that spotlight for very long. This boastful elf is a strong warrior of Kaldheim, who participated in the stories that took place on his home plane.
I will say, I do really like Tyvar's Last Stand, I think it's called. Pretty good, really fun card. I want to use it more
directly
often.
led to the story of March of the Machine. Plus, he really built up hatred.
There it is, there it is. It's in Tarkir as well.
For the Planeswalker turned Phyrexian Tybalt, leading to their climactic confrontation and Tybalt's death. Tyvar Kell spent a lot of the March of the Machine story on Kaldheim, uniting the different realms that make up his plane into a singular fighting force against the invading Phyrexians. His voice bellowed over the battlefield.
I don't think, to my understanding, Phyrexians, like, they don't actually get a buff in strength anymore. Do Planeswalker Sparks still buff the character's strength in burst? Yeah, it doesn't really. It genuinely changes so little at the moment. That would be quite funny, having a Planeswalker cabbage merchant. If Atla got Planeswalker, like if Universes Beyond eventually get Planeswalkers, I see that being a good option. You know, now that I think about it, it's a bit odd that Planeswalkers, there aren't any Planeswalkers for Universes Beyond. Yeah, I get it. They're not actually going to other multiverses. So they're not going to other universes in their multiverse. Well, in the Universes Beyond category, but they are going to other universes in their multiverse. Sorry, I needed to like sort through that information for a sec. Like the Watcher as a Planeswalker just makes sense.
Filling his allies with songs of triumph. But those songs quieted when the shadow of their god, a world-encompassing serpent, appeared in the sky coated in metal. It had been completed. Tyvar Kell, fearing no foe and fighting for his home and glory, jumped into the great serpent's maw and fell below the sea. Breaking the surface, he had somehow, against all odds, struck down their Phyrexianized god. From the inside out, no less. As the entire...
Honestly, this Tyvar fella seems like a right lad. Okay, hold on, let me just check this out. Every time the sets will never include a Planeswalker. I think it's a terrible thing because realistically, a person can make a 99, 50 to 60 and doesn't include a single Planeswalker. Underutilized being 316 with entire decks dedicated to Planeswalkers. Skeleton Commander counter this day. No, I totally agree. We need to stay off some Commander. Skeleton Planeswalker, yeah. That derived from lore that doesn't include allows cross. Not having Planeswalkers and sets that derive from lore that doesn't include magic or technology that allows cross-plane seems really appropriate. The mechanics of Planeswalker cards are enjoyable, but they aren't required. Maybe a Loki or Sylvie hasn't been created there. Probably a few other thematically appropriate characters would be Planeswalker, yeah. Well, the prerequisite for being a Planeswalker is that you need to be someone who can travel through different times, and that's it. That's all you have to have. Because any mage can theoretically do what you do in the game because they're just creating their stuff based off of memories. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, the only the only thing needed. The only thing needed out of a Planeswalker is just the ability to. Sorry, I'm just searching up. Just nature of how. Yeah, no. What I'm saying is that's how it works. Highly specific genetical rare anomaly. So you're telling me that there are no genetic characters who are Marvel characters, for example. Mhm. Exclusive mechanical brand. Raw isn't about to be able to cross dimensions to get a planeswalker card. Card must explicitly exist within the canonical MTG universe and possess an ether imprinted soul spark. Uh-huh. Okay, cool. Whatever. Basically, it just sounds like a bunch of bullshit, basically. Essentially.
Kaldheim revels in their victory.
But instead we have, over 100 legendary creatures, most of which are like personas, which means they aren't inherently connected to a certain identity, which means they don't, technically speaking, shouldn't be legendary and should just be creatures, but whatever.
The
That's
great
just me.
pruning occurs, and now Tyvar Kell remains on his home to help rebuild, no longer a planeswalker. The troubled soul that is Nahiri is a story that seems to be getting worse.
I feel so bad for Nahiri. Okay, you know what? This is the only character I think might be getting problems for having lost her spark. But even then, honestly, she just needs a break. She needs a break. Just give her a nice hut in the countryside. Let her take a nap. Fucking hell.
Worse and worse. Like Nahiri keeps being a worse and worse person despite my desperate plea for a redemption arc. I thought she was.
She's not a worse person. She was in a terrible circumstance, and everyone she was connected to fucked off and completely cut her out. And they were uncontactable. Ugin fucking died, so he has an out. Although he then comes back to life. I actually don't know if he's still alive anymore. He should be. He's on Tarkin. But he was dead for a period of time where he would have been needed to be for her story. And then the other dude, the vampire guy, told her to fuck off so he can stay with his vampire harem? I forget his exact details. But his whole shtick wasn't positive either. And you're expecting the, literally like isolated planeswalker with unfathomable power without fathom to not fight anyone and not go over the edge. I don't know, man. Like, whatever. Agree to disagree.
Was on one when she joined the team to attack New Phyrexia in an attempt to stop Elish Norn in her invasions.
Yeah,
even sacrificing herself so that.
Of course she fucking did, because she's the GOAT. She's that girl. She may have been fucked over by a bunch of people, but she's still like inherently heroic.
The others could continue the mission. Nahiri was captured and completed, now a pawn of Elish Norn. But that's not her fault, nor could she be blamed for her actions.
No one thought that. No one fucking thought that. That was never a thought on anyone's mind. You just brought that bullshit up. Fuck you. Wanker. Okay, let me just look at what she has, because honestly, I fuck with her so heavy, I would definitely make a deck on her. That's such a hero. You see anything freaky, you didn't see it.
As a Phyrexian, she led the attack on her home of Zendikar. As Phyrexians attacked the citizens below, Nahiri tried to corrupt the ancient Skyclave Hedrons that were once placed there to trap the Eldrazi. She hoped to open larger portals to New Phyrexia, ensuring her victory, but she was stopped after grafting herself to the stones by former allies, blasting her with pure concentrated Halo magic, the source that could expel the corruption of Phyrexian black oil. When Nahiri awoke in the wreckage, she was no longer a Phyrexian. The Halo had cured her. She had remorse for her role in Zendikar's damage and attempting to fix it.
Makes sense, because she's a good guy.
For her Planeswalker spark, feeling it missing and finding it trapped within a Hedron. She's then ambushed by Ajani, who was still a Planeswalker, trying to convince Nahiri to join him in healing the multiverse. Nahiri just loses it. She looks over the destruction of her plane and places the blame on planeswalkers and their meddling. She fights back against Ajani.
Is she wrong, though? Like, is she wrong? Is she wrong? Like, she's just on point. The only reason why any of the universe is struggling is because planeswalkers exist. You can fucking quote me on that. 100%. Every single problem that fucking happens is because of planeswalkers. Oh, they've started, like, you know, going onto other planes and killing people. Oh, yeah, that's just because they were trying to imitate a planeswalker. Oh, this whole plane basically fucks over everyone. Oh, it's because they're a planeswalker. It's just always because they're a planeswalker.
Who, in her paranoia, she believed was there to kill her. She ends up falling and shattering the Hedron that housed her spark, solidifying her status as a non-planeswalker stuck on Zendikar, and vowing to never let another planeswalker set foot on Zendikar again.
She is so valid. You can't convince me otherwise. If this guy tries to try and say that she isn't valid as fuck for what she's doing, I'm gonna... I don't know, I'm not gonna do anything, but, like, fuck you.
On the newly materialized plane of Zhalfir, other planeswalkers were found trapped here much like Koth. Zhalfir had taken the place of New Phyrexia in the makeup of the multiverse, with the Dark World now inhabiting the phased-out place in space and time that Zhalfir once resided. Here, one of the greatest sons of
Zhalfir is the same plane that the original Phyrexian, I forget his name, came from.
Is now permanently fixed. The Time Mage, Teferi. Teferi is the one responsible for phasing Zhalfir out of time originally, hoping to keep his home safe from the first Phyrexian invasion. Now his story has come full circle as his spark fades and he again joins his community on his new plane.
Another character who got phased out for years, came back and then lost it. Like, no real change here. The only one that I feel like has any significance is it's Nahiri. Because Nahiri actually has a solid reason to do it, to want it to be gone. She destroyed it herself, and yeah, no, she's valid as fuck. Although it would be quite funny if it turned out the reason why the universe started destroying everyone's is because the universe kind of functions like white blood cells, where once something can be destroyed, it gets destroyed. If that makes sense, like it starts to target them as a inherently outside or negative thing, even though it created them. The same way you would attack your eyes if your body realized it was there. So it could be that Nahiri is the reason why she destroyed her planeswalker spark and now everyone's fucked.
Originally, hoping to keep his home safe from the first Phyrexian invasion. Now his story has come full circle as his spark fades and he again joins his community on his new plane. Nice. Along with Teferi and Koth, two others would find themselves desparked on Zhalfir, the artificial golem Karn and the animist Nissa Ravane.
Karn just needs a break, I'll be honest. He just needs a break. Like, it sounds like a good thing for Karn. I don't know about Nissa. All I know is apparently she's gay with Chandra, or at least what, like, for a period of time was.
Karn and Nissa's sparks were joined by fate. Karn was attempting to cure Nissa's soul of the infectious black oil that was used to complete her. Nissa and Ajani were captured once Elesh Norn was defeated, and great pains were made to remove the influence of the Phyrexians from their bodies. While the metal was removed, curing their souls would be another thing altogether. With the black oil covering their souls and sparks, Karn started a ritual that would remove their inner essence and wash them clean with his own spark. This naturally resulted in the loss of Karn's spark, rendering him no longer a planeswalker. While the ritual worked perfectly fine for Ajani's spark, meaning he kept his planeswalking abilities, there seemed to be some unstable reaction with Nissa's. It crumbled and faded off before it could be transplanted back within Nissa. Karn had no idea how this
I don't know enough, I'll be honest, I don't know enough about Nissa to say there's, like, a solid reason for her to keep it. Like, there is no... I don't know enough about her to think genuinely that she needs to have one.
Affect Nissa, but when she woke up, they found that she too was no longer a planeswalker. Our final entry for planeswalkers...
Holy shit, Will and Rowan, they're back. I haven't seen them since the original Strixhaven. And they lose their planeswalker sparks? Damn.
Who lost their sparks in the March of the Machine are the twins Will and Rowan Kenrith. Like other planeswalkers in this story, they were beckoned back to their home plane of Eldraine to help their parents defend the realm from the Phyrexian invasion.
Very nice. I guess they're going to become rulers now. That's kind of fun. Also, I love how their pick is just themselves at an angle. Also, they look almost identical, which makes sense. They're twins.
Other than the ruling monarchs of the civil people of Eldraine.
Also, I love how their faces are slightly different. Like here, he's like, and then, but like the side profile is like, anyway.
King and Queen of Ardenvale. As
Nice.
the twins have grown in the story, they found that their planeswalker sparks are unique because they in
Whoa.
fact only share a single spark between the two. As twins, they seem to share a lot, including a spark. They can only
That is rough.
planeswalk together, and it indicates that their souls are somehow intertwined. While helping to defend Castle Ardenvale,
Holy shit. Jujutsu Kaisen coming to Magic the Gathering next, confirmed.
from the Phyrexian attackers, King and Queen Kenrith would lose their lives. A sad
Oh,
day
that
for the
sucks.
realms, to be sure, but
Anyway.
none more grieved solemnly than their children, who then rallied the peoples of Eldraine to push back the invaders until the day was ultimately won. As the portals in the sky faded, so too did the shared spark of Rowan and Will Kenrith. Now stuck on their home plane, the twins must navigate the political turmoil resulting from their parents' deaths, and
Good, so they have to do what they would have had to do anyway.
the
my
sticky,
fucking god!
rightful line of succession. Will Kenrith believes he is next in line to rule, taking the crown for himself and claiming the throne. It will be this
Yeah, there's a fucking reason why. Because he's the smart one. He should be the one in charge. She should be a general or war leader. That would make a lot of sense. But he seems more apt to be the one who's the king.
conflict that catapults the next chapter of Magic the Gathering story, starting with the Wilds of Eldraine. With the multiverse coming to terms with this new normal and so many less
Hold on, is that fucking, what's her name, Drura? Diria? I've got her in my deck and I still remember her bloody name.
planeswalkers about, the story will be taking a much more insular focus. That meaning we'll step away from large-scale end-of-days for the multiverse scenarios.
I want us to go back to blocks. I'm upset that I missed the block period, because I think this is way cooler than, like, small, tiny sets. What I think I'd prefer, though, is have a big block that's going over the year, so, like, maybe 3 also sets that are dedicated to, within universe, like, just this overarching thing, and then, like, 1 or 2 extra sets that are, like, just some random other plane has a story. I don't know. Great way to just get more access to other stories as well.
And again, focus on singular issues happening to the planes focused on a set. It's been a while since we focused on the current climate or events of a plane and not tying it back to some larger scheme cooking in the background. It's going to be nice to see a more in-depth focus on the peoples and cultures of planes without the shadow of a Nicol Bolas or the Phyrexians constantly shading it.
I mean, you could always just have it be that the blocks are based on, like, the actual planes themselves, so the behind-the-scenes threat is actually from the parent plane itself, but whatever.
To me, that's a great new direction and one I'd happily trade a few sparks for. Still,
Yeah. Unfortunately, they're using that to make the Marvel block instead, so I wouldn't be too happy just yet. Mind you, this was 3 years ago.
The loss of some of our favorite characters as we know them. March of the Machine may not have the body count we expected, but it did have a much larger impact than, say, the aftermath of War of the Spark. With March of the Machine, we at least see characters impacted in a real and substantial way. With some no longer able to planeswalk, we essentially cut down on the roster of possible characters we can see per story. A sort of...
No, you don't. I mean, not really. As long as you're on the planes with a lot of people. I'm assuming they're meaning once the story is revealed, like, what the plane is going to be, then we get a cut down, but... Even then, there's still other methods to traverse the universe. Who's to say, like, you know, on Rowan and Will and Rowan's plane, they're landlocked, but someone could just come by one of those portals. I forget what the portals are called, own paths. Like, just anyone could just appear because they need something. You know, maybe the alternate version of Chandra comes by because she wants Will to suck her dick. I don't know. Do you think that the alternate version of Will is a lesbian still, or is she straight?
narrative death, if you would. And that's where I'd like to end this video and kick it back to you guys. Who are you going to miss most from the pruned planeswalkers?
None of them. The only one I'll say I would miss is Zahiri, because I think she's a really cool character and a really interesting one.
Did your favorites?
But I actually prefer. I think it's a really cool idea to have someone who just doesn't like them, even though she was one. Anyway, today was a short stream. I'm gonna head off now. This video is getting crowded in 5 minutes because I fucked up. But yeah, toodaloo. Have a good one. Maybe next time we can look over the March of the Machine or something. I don't know. This is in a poor order. I completely messed it up, but yeah, it'll probably end up being stuck to this one. But yeah, I mean, I will say I feel like they're really dragging out the Will and Roman story because it's so simple that it could be fixed in like two, maybe two sets. From what I've seen, Will should be the king. Rowan should be like a general, nice and simple. Have her be the royal general. Have her be the one who attacks because her whole thing is, she's very violent. She's very headstrong. Just have her be the one who leads an army, and have him be the one who leads the actual nation and takes care of the details and all that other jazz and the bigger picture at the same time. But anyway, I guess the next plan for tomorrow is probably just going to be the winner of the March from the Machine. Maybe afterwards we can go on down this route of Ashiok and then that. Go to Tarkir. Jace's complete story. Johnny's complete story. Maybe the Archmage, this fella. He reminds me of that kid from Marvel, who's basically God. That doesn't narrow it down at all. Anywho, yeah. Au revoir. Bye bye. Have a good evening, good night, good morning, whatever it is for you.